Hey guys, it's me, Lawrence Presman. It's the U.S. Open tennis show from a gambling perspective. Nick Borman joining me, Andrew McGinnis, and of course the dude, Carmine Bianco. Carm, we'll start with you, man. I haven't spoke to you since about 10 minutes ago, but let's just assume it's been a week. How's your tennis been going?
Tennis is going awesome. Started the day with a couple winners already. That's about 10 of the last 11 winners. I think I'm 15 and 5 right now, so I'm hitting 75% in the tournament. Not taking any the big favorites, of course. It's pretty much been games or small dogs
Yeah.
as far as the tournament goes. And the only one left in play right now is the game that's currently on with Dominic Team and Felix Ogier Alasami. How did I pronounce that? Not bad.
Very excellent. Nick Borman, I know you're cheering for the Canadian through and through, right?
In this particular match, I love that kid, but I thought his run would end, so I am not cheering for him. I went with team minus 3.5 games. So, but it's going to the tiebreak right
Nick?
now. He was up for break early, so I could be doomed.
Nick, are
here.
you on YouTube looking into the chat room?
Hang on. Yes.
You have now been removed from the show.
Don't do
Andrew
that.
McGinnis, make up for Nick. How are you doing, brother?
We're doing good, Prez. It's a 9-3 run right now, 75% U.S. Open, plus 19% ROI. So chipping away at it, and obviously we had that special just end for the 30 days. But I think that doing these U.S. Open picks is a good example of why it's good to have an all-access pass, not just to buy daily picks. I'm releasing NBA, NHL, MLB as well, UFC on the weekends. All of these tennis plays for me aren't getting up as packages, but if you're an all-access client, you're getting them right to your email, and cash some underdogs, some favorites, and some totals. So it's been really good.
Guys, it's $9 Monday. Everybody at WagerTalk, any play they have, same with Sports Memo, you could get for $9. That includes some of the all the NFL plays that are currently up, all the college football plays that are currently up. I have a 5% play for this Sunday in the NFL. You can get it today for $9. Tomorrow it'll be $40. So head over now, right now, or as South Africans would say, just now, to WagerTalk.com and buy my play. Okay, boys, I want to start with the Djokovic situation. I'm happy to get all of your takes, but I'm going to go first. So up until recently, as in yesterday, I thought there were some really dumb rules in sports. The number one stupidest rule ever in history is why in the NBA you get a timeout and can automatically move the ball all the way down to the other side. I always had a chuckle about that. I always thought in hockey it would be so cool. 6 seconds left on the clock. They're in the other guy's end, and then all of a sudden the coach goes, timeout, timeout! Ref, pick that puck up and move it all the way over there, please. Yeah. So that was the stupidest rule in all of sports, with the penalty kicks in soccer right behind, until yesterday. We have a new stupid rule in sports, and it happened to Djokovic. Now, I understand. That a rule is a rule, and I respect abiding by rules. But that doesn't mean the rule shouldn't be changed. And here is my take. You're not allowed to replay. The umpires, the referees were not allowed to watch that play over again. I watched the Tiafoe game later, just to let everyone know. If you follow me on Twitter, I put out that I was betting big on Tiafoe and I won. But I remember when Tiafoe had 3 balls in his hand, he was missing one. He turned around and he just tapped it behind him to the ball boy. Now, if the ball boy wasn't looking and it hit him in the balls, and he fell over, would he have then been removed from the game? The answer is yes, because they're not taking into account your mindset. They're not taking into account whether you aimed it, whether you hit him hard, the ball hard or the ball soft. It happens all game long. There has never been a tennis match in the history where tennis players were not hitting the ball behind them. The ball boy lady should have been removed for not paying attention. Djokovic
What?
did not.
Are you kidding me? What?
Djokovic did not hit the ball hard at her. There was no
Chris,
malicious intent to injure. It was a freaking
course not.
accident. And it was an accident because the ball lady, who was like 75, who shouldn't even be doing this because they're like supposed to be kids, she wasn't paying attention. I agree with the rule. He needs to be removed. That is the rule, blah, blah, blah. But it made no sense to me. Nick, I will go to you first. Andrew, I'm going to you last because you interjected. Nick, I will go to you first. But the bottom line is Djokovic did nothing wrong. Go ahead.
The whole thing just reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where Kramer is the ball boy. I'm sure you guys have seen that and how hilarious that is. But I think, it was silly. I watched the replay. I was not watching it live. I saw Carm and you, Prez, tweeting about it. I'm like, wait, what happened? And, yes, there was no ill intent. It hit the lady right in the neck. If it hits her in the shoulder and she gets up and walks away, he's probably not DQ'd.
Exactly.
She was injured, right? She held her neck. She couldn't stand up. And that probably, that prompted the response that I think had to come. If it just deflected off of her, he's probably he still played and he probably wins that match. But I think, listen, I guess the rule is the rule. I don't like it. I wasn't a fan of it. I don't think it needed to happen. But here we are, and we move on. And the only thing we can say is the futures market is now back open for everybody else in the field. So that'll be fun to figure out. But I lost my 2-win bet on Jokester.
Well, listen,
so it is what
Djokovic is more pissed off than you, but I think the moral of the story, Carmine, is I don't have a 75-year-old lady act as a ball boy.
Kramer.
No, you're going to hear my take now. Yes, he's got to be thrown out. The rule is the rule. It's a terrible rule. You might not like it, but I think they also took into consideration earlier in the match, earlier in the first set, he did a similar thing, and with a lot more force. And if he had hit with somebody with that one, when I first saw it, I knew the rule was the rule. When I saw the replay of it, I thought, that didn't really hit her that hard, but that doesn't really matter. That point doesn't matter. The point is the minute you hit someone with it, and the fact that it got her in the throat. If it hits her in the shoulder, we're not having this discussion.
But that's just
we're not
BS,
having this discussion. Dude. And we're also not having this discussion if it was the number 200th ranked player in the tournament who got tossed playing on one of the side courts. We're not having this discussion, but it is Djokovic. So with that said, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where he got tossed. I wish he would have talked to one of the reporters or whatever. He took off and did an Instagram post apologizing, and it seemed like a sincere apology and what have you. But if nothing else, it gives me my Dominic Dominic team bet to win the tournament at plus 850 is now down to plus 333.
That's looking good.
Heading into this match now. So as far as that goes, I'm kind of happy about it, but it's a shame because he forfeits all of his ranking, all of his points that he would have gotten in this U.S. Open, and he's fined all his prize money that he would have earned in this tournament. So
all because a 75-year-old lady didn't watch where she was going. I mean, pay attention, woman. Andrew.
Yeah, I think the word that we first of all, like you guys said, it's a great point by Carmine. We wouldn't even be talking about this if it wasn't the Joker, because this guy was minus 115 to minus 130 to win a tournament, which is ridiculous, and which is the reason why we're talking about it right now. But I think the word that we haven't used right yet is frustration. The difference is between you talking about, Prez, about how when guys have the 3 tennis balls in their hands and they whack the other ones back behind them on the ground, that's part of the game. It's kind of like in basketball when someone goes up for a layup and they get blocked and the ball goes flying out of bounds. That's a play. That's actually a basketball play. If that hits a fan in the stands, they got to deal with the repercussions. That's a basketball play. However, turning around and smoking the ball He's
Okay,
not
Andrew,
a
you gotta
tennis
stop.
play.
At least
I
make it
won't.
accurate. At least
I
speak
won't.
accurately.
No, but Fred, that has
Smoking the
nothing
ball.
to do with the sport.
Smoking the
that
ball.
has nothing to do.
It was a
It has
lob.
nothing to do
A
with the sport of tennis.
gentle
Yeah, no,
lob.
No, but is it a tennis play? Yes or no? Is it a
It's
tennis
as
play?
much of a tennis play as
How?
what Chapo
He was facing you up.
what
He wasn't
Chapo
giving
did.
the ball back to her. He wasn't giving the ball back to her. It was out of frustration.
It didn't
That's why he
look
did
like
it.
out
He
of
was pissed.
frustration. It was just a little innocent lob, and an Alzheimer's patient got hit in the neck because she was taken out of the daycare.
Now,
I know. I'm being an idiot.
Come on.
The bottom line
Yeah,
is
you are.
there was
I get
no
your point. I get your
intent.
point.
He did not smoke the ball at her. It was a soft little lob.
How do you know there was no intent? How do you know he didn't walk onto the court and say, I just don't like the look of this person?
Well,
I'm gonna
then
get her
do
at
it with
point.
some force.
No, but
Okay,
it's
so-
like Prez, you're literally being that guy right now that says like this guy that got jumped in a bad neighborhood. Why was he in the neighborhood? Not he got
No,
jumped. Why
Andrew,
was he
that's
there?
not what I'm saying at all, dude.
That's what you're saying. Why was the
Andrew,
lady
if that
staying
lady
there?
would have
Just-
caught the ball, he would not have been thrown out. So if she was paying attention,
Well, obviously.
if she was paying attention, he wouldn't have been thrown out. The fact that she wasn't paying attention, he got thrown out. That's an
I'm
absolute
gonna tell you
fact.
this.
Carey
No,
Price
no.
couldn't have caught that ball.
I'll tell
Carey
you this.
Price
Hold
couldn't have
on.
caught that ball.
Really?
Guys.
Come on, dude.
I'll tell you this. The fact that she had to be removed, okay, the fact that she had to be removed from the court had the most thing to do with him being defaulted. Because it happened earlier either in this tournament or in this previous tournament where a cameraman got hit by a ball. The court official went over to the cameraman and checked with him, and the cameraman said, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm good," and continued on. So they gave the guy a warning.
Yeah, so
and the match continued on.
so what you're
She had to be removed. She had to get medical attention. Completely
Oh,
different.
my God.
But
So
the
her
rule is the
skin
rule, and how
So
you
she's a
enforce it.
little bit softer than the cameraman. Oh my God. You should be thrown out of the game because the ball boy is soft. Okay, let's get to it, boys.
What's the actual rule, though? In all seriousness, guys, what's the actual rule?
cannot
is
be
there
hit.
a clear rule?
By the ball.
Just
Yeah.
But you
hit
can
by
be
the
hit
ball.
in the hand when catching it. That's allowed. But
I like that, Fred.
you
I
can
like
be hit
that.
in the
I like
mouth.
And now we continue on.
when catching it. Anyway, welcome to the show, guys. Pick and Pop, nice to have you here. She was looking at the line, he says. Yeah, next time she should actually pay attention. Nobody was serving. They weren't in play. Was the line turning her on? Vivian Ringwald, welcome to the show. 05 Johnny S. I am not releasing tennis plays. I am betting them. I put up one on Twitter. Follow me there. Okay, boys, we could talk Djokovic till we're blue in the face, especially considering Andrew and I are totally on opposite sides. Nick Borman on the fence a bit, and, well, Carm, he's just thinking about food.
Sure.
Okay, the remaining men's draw. Carm, I'll go to you first. Give us some thoughts and maybe some potential bets, please.
Well, and one last thing is, yes, Djokovic was a little frustrated because I don't think he expected Carino Busta to put up the kind of fight that he was putting up and playing well.
Yes.
So now it's Shapovalov against Carino Busta in the quarters with a shot at the semis, and a very good shot that, that semifinal that's probably the toughest, I think, of the two, because you look at the other one, it's Cork and Zareva. Did I spell that? Did I say that right? Zverev. He's the number 5 seed, but I think it actually sets up better for one of these two. They're much harder hitters to get into the final. Obviously, I'm still cheering for team from my side. He'll have to face, I think it's probably the toughest guy left in this tournament, which is Medvedev, right? So odds wise, I looked at those odds and it's where are we? Plus 333 still on Dominic Thiem. So for me, it's a great price as far as that goes. I was actually looking up Shapovalov for you, Prez, because I know you want to know what his odds are. So if you give me a second, I'll tell you what his odds are. Shapovalov is plus 800. So Medvedev is the favorite to win the tournament right now, plus 187. Dominic Thiem at plus 333, and then Zverev, Alexander Z at plus 350, and then Shapovalov at plus 800. So yeah, I'm not sure about the other guys, whether I really give them a chance. I think this is one of the top four that I just rattled off is probably going to win this tournament. So I'm holding out for Thiem to get the win today, and he's doing well so far, and we'll see where we go from there.
And your betting team at plus 330?
No, I've got him already at plus 850. So
Nice.
I'm just going to ride out my plus 850 with him.
Nice. Nick, any bets you see as we wind into the real matches?
Not on the futures. I mean, the thing we got to know now is there's not one major winner left in the field. So I think this is wide open. I think four guys could easily make a run to the final and possibly win this thing. And I can't really pick one. I'm just going to look at each match going forward and stick to that. I do have a play we'll talk about later. I'll give out for tonight's match with Medvedev, but for the futures market, nothing. I'm gonna just go match by match the rest of the way. I think it's too open at this point.
Andrew McGinnis.
Yeah, I'm not looking at too many futures. I mean, I think you look at Medvedev though. Look at it's one of those things. I'm obviously saying the favorite, but he's a favorite for a reason. You look at his matchups and who he'll potentially be looking at, and I think it sets up for a great spot for him, especially if he has a smooth victory this evening. I wouldn't really be too concerned about it. So there's a reason why we're getting that. And you look at a guy like Tiafoe. I actually had him as an underdog price. I had a winner with him. I think it was like plus 145, something like that. And this is a guy that I think his run is done. You look at a few guys like that. He'll slow down, and so I'm looking to fade him. Sometimes, tennis is such an interesting sport to cap because you look at some of these guys, their run through the U.S. Open. 2 rounds ago, they might have had a 5-setter, and then last round they could have a 3-setter sweep. So it's such an up and down thing. I don't know if we're just doing futures or plays right now, Prez, but I look at Coric. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I think I look over the total. That's tomorrow's game of 38.5 against Zverev. Zverev's great, and he's had a good run, but both of Zverev and Coric, but mostly just Zverev, have kind of just easily gone through their rounds. So I find that guys that are just kind of breezing by and they finally meet a good tough match, it's a good spot to bet an over because if they haven't faced any adversity yet, it's not going to be easy against another really strong guy. So Coric has also upsetted the Greek, the 4th-ranked Sistapas. I think that's how it is. I don't know, Nick, you could probably correct me on that, but he's got momentum, and I like him, his match over 38.5. As far as Chapo, great call with that on Twitter. I saw you mention that yesterday. I had him as well with the clients, Press.
Yep. Nicely done, Andrew. Let's talk about Chapo in a second. I just want to make mention, as you guys know, if you listen to the first show, tennis is the sport I am most connected to. I get a lot of inside information here, and I'm telling you flat out, nobody wants to play Thiem. At plus 333, I would take him over Medvedev. I think there's still a lot of value here. This guy is the next big tennis player, and I think we're going to see him win his first U.S. Open, his first major. So plus 333, I like that bet a lot. All my contacts are telling me the exact same thing. Take Thiem. Well, with that said, I think he has Chapo next. Any chance a Canadian can win this thing, Carm?
Anything's possible in this tournament. I watched the first set of this match that's going on right now. They're in the second set with Thiem and Aliasemi, the Canadian, and Thiem came out and he's just going stroke for stroke. Right, it's unbelievable. It's almost like he changed up his game a little bit for this match, and this is what I like is his game really evolves and he changes it to fit the match he's in. I love that first set. I was surprised it went to a tiebreaker. I'm kind of hoping it goes 4 sets. And it, but I just think that it it's made for him to win. It's his to lose, even though he's not the favorite to win it.
Nick Borman.
And as far as your
Yep.
as far as your question to I'm sorry, I apologize. As far as your question as to a Canadian, listen, I like Shapovalov. I would love to see a Canadian win. I just think that in order to do it, he's got to face two or three very tough opponents, tougher than what he's faced so far.
Yeah.
So he's got to be full marks in order to win it.
Nick, I can tell you one thing with certainty: an American will not win the U.S. Open on the men's side. Maybe for the next 10 years. But let's just focus on this year. Any chance for a Canadian?
I think
You don't care, Nick.
well, Felix is out today, so you only got one left, and that's Chapo. And I don't think. I mean, honestly, he could get to the final. I mean, he's got to beat Carreno Busto and then possibly Zverev. I don't know. I think it's a long run. I think there's too many strong opponents in front of him. So probably not. Doesn't mean he's got a good future coming up.
Nick,
but again, I'm not going to take
Nick,
him.
look, none of us live in America, or the three of us are Canadian. Did they ban tennis for the men's in America? Is that what has happened? They're just not allowed to play anymore? If you become a tennis star, you get put in another sport?
Everybody wants to play basketball and football. I mean, those are the sports people grow up playing in America. You don't see any American soccer players, tennis players. Golf's the other one. If you're going to play a solo sport by yourself, Americans dominate golf. That's about it. But they're not playing tennis anymore. I don't know what it is.
It's crazy. Andrew, what do you think? Chapo got a shot?
I think he's got a shot, but it's a great point that was raised about just like the level of competition that he might not have faced. It's not like he has to like just have one match that he has to show up for. This is going to be a couple in a row where he really has to like perform at his best top level. So again, I keep saying it. You look at a guy like Chapo goes down early, and your book should offer in-game live betting. Tennis is some of the best for it, not only for just set betting, but for totals betting. I've looked at numerous that I thought about giving to my clients. You see one guy go down, all of a sudden we got a total going down from 37.5 to 31. The other guy wins the next set, and all of a sudden it's back up to 38. I look for him to compete, Prez, is pretty much my answer. But as far as futures right now pretty much correlates to what we think obviously is going to be a game by game and stuff like that. And I think, you talked about how nobody wants to play Thiem, and I understand that. But like I said earlier, I think that Medvedev, he's like plus 180, which obviously isn't great value, but he's playing Tiafoe, and then after that he's playing either, I believe, Rublev or Berrettini. So I think that's going to set up for him for just a good opportunity. And I think you look at the path that someone has to take, and that can really change your handicaps, not only just their skill, but how they're going to get there. I think that's why he's plus 180.
I want to welcome Chip into the posting forum. And Richie Rich, how are you, my brother? Pick and Pop asked, what's a smart bet with a $500 bankroll percentage-wise? Pick, it's a great question, man. And the standard rule from my perspective is 4% of your bankroll. And I know that's going to sound like a very small amount of money given that it's about $20. But that is literally the right way to do it. I understand the 20 might not give you the, that adrenaline endorphin situation that you require. But if you're going to try to do this from a winning perspective only, as opposed to entertainment perspective, around $20 is the right bet to make with a $500 bankroll.
If I could say a response to that, being with WagerTalk for a couple of years, selling picks for 5-6 years now, the thing that people out there have to start thinking about is you want to hate to lose more than you love to win. Let the money pile up week by week by week by week. Don't worry about that instant gratification of betting whatever the number is that you bet. I have a friend that makes a shit ton of picks every day, but he's betting like $5 a pick. But he's just looking for that week to week, ROI, ROI, ROI. And some people that go out there deposit $500 on their account, and their first bet's going to be $200. You lose that, you're already screwing yourself over in your bankroll. So that's kind of been my motto. I don't know about you guys. I've seen it from you, Prez. It's good to celebrate wins, but let's be honest. As gamblers, and a lot of gambling movies always talk about this, I show more emotion when I lose than when I win. Like I win a bet, and like I have like my friend and my girlfriend's like, you don't even look that excited. I'm like, well, I didn't plan on losing, right? And then when you lose, you're just cursing,
Oh,
you're pissed, like you're like,
it's the
what the hell
worst.
just happened, you know? So that's how I
It's the
feel.
worst, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get to the women's draw and quarterfinals. Andrew, I got a text from you saying you're an expert in woman, specifically women's draws.
Drawers, not draws.
Yeah,
Drawers,
you're gonna start
drawers.
with my
You're
accent.
gonna get him in trouble with his woman, man. Don't get him in trouble with his woman.
Oh, well, does she actually listen to this show?
Could be.
Okay.
You don't
You know what's
know.
funny? She always listens when I least expect it. So who knows right now? She'll be like, "Oh, I like the shirt you're wearing on your show." I'm like, "What?" I don't even know you were tuning in, but you always she gets a good kick out of you guys, so it's
In
fun.
about 15 minutes, Andrew's gonna be like, well, I don't understand why my key doesn't work anymore. I can't get in the door.
Okay, Andrew, you don't want to talk women. Nick Borman, regale us. What are your thoughts?
Well, when we did last week's show, I mentioned maybe it was worth throwing Serena in as a future bet. I think she's going to get through one more round. She squeaked by today. I think she can make it through one more round, and then I may look to hedge out, depending how she looks. She didn't look great today, and depending how Keenan looks, I may look to hedge out in the semis. But right now, I think it might be a Williams or a Keenan, that side of the bracket. Osaka is the favorite coming out of the other side. I'm just not really high on her right now. Not to say she can't do something, but I think it's going to be Williams or Keenan coming out of that side. And I'll probably wait to see if I do anything based on the fact that I have Williams already, and maybe I'll hedge out with Keenan come that semifinal match. But I still like Williams just from being where I'm at ahead of the tournament. So otherwise, no other future plays for me on this side.
Carmine?
Yeah, if you watched our first show, I did say my two futures that I took were Naomi Osaka at plus 600. She's now the tournament favorite at plus 175.
Great
And
call,
my
Carm.
long shot play was Sophia Keenan. I just thought she was going to have a very good tournament. She was 18-1. She is now 10-1.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure she's going to win her next match, which will set her on a collision course with Serena, who looks beatable right now.
Yep.
I'm going to throw one more name out to you guys out there that you can still get a good price on. Jennifer Brady. And let me tell you, I watched her match. I've watched her matches. She is probably playing, of all the women, the best tennis in the U.S. Open right now. Absolutely fantastic. Her next match is tomorrow against Ulia Putintseva. I think I pronounced that correctly.
Good.
And you can get her to win in straight sets at minus 125, which I think is a fantastic bet. And it's going to be one of my WagerTalk plays for tomorrow. Straight sets to her winning straight sets. She's minus 350 to win the match. She's plus 550 right now to win the tournament. She gets by Putintseva. She will play Osaka next, and she matches up extremely well with Osaka. And I expect her to beat Osaka. So that's going to get rid of one of my futures, but it's going to give me one at 550 to I think she makes this, I think Jennifer makes a run to the finals and could very well pick up a U.S. Open title.
He's Carmine Bianco. We've got Andrew McGinnis and Nick Borman with us. You're watching our U.S. Open preview show, preview for the next matches. 05 Johnny, I did not understand your first question completely. And your second question I do get, and I'm going to answer it like this, just so everybody knows. You know, he's asking a question like, if you put 4% on your bankroll on, let's say, the New York Islanders tonight, and the New York Islanders are down 2-0 at the end of the first half, at the first period, and you get them at plus 300 to win the game, is it good to bet there so that now you find yourself with 6 or 7% of your bankroll on one game? The answer to that question is every bet is a bet that's done in complete isolation. So I don't look at that bet as now you have 7% on the New York Islanders. I look at that as you have to ask yourself the question, would the New York Islanders win in that spot 1 out of 3 times, or 1 out of 4, or 1 out of 5? And if they would, then you make the bet because the value is there. The only thing we're really interested in, guys, is value. So that's sort of my answer to that question. Boys, we got to do a quick look ahead. Any matches of interest to you, Andrew?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I'm looking to I'm looking to fade Tiafoe tomorrow against Medvedev. I'm looking on the sets as well, but on the games, I think it's pretty low number. And you look at a guy like him, he's the favorite for a reason. Like I said, he's someone that's you look at Tiafoe's run here, and I talked about the path that certain people take, and his path hasn't been easy at all. He's looked great, Tiafoe, but he hasn't had any smooth victories, And you look at a guy first like Coric, I think he could be possibly an underdog play for tomorrow against Zverev. So you look at some guys like that. I'm looking at in-game for gains betting for him, but I think Medvedev wins a clear cut. If he's too much of a juice favorite, obviously on the money line, toss him into a parlay. I just find it crazy, Prez. I mean, look at the odds that Shapo has tomorrow, right? And then look at the odds he had in his last match. Like, you elevate forward to the next round, and yet he's getting the odds that he is right now. It's kind of confusing to me. But that's what I'm looking at. Only thing I have right now is really just looking at fading Tiafoe, and then looking at that over in the Coric match. I think that he'll really compete and make it really competitive. Both players coming off pretty much like smooth victories. And when I see that happen, I just want to, Coric beat Thompson. The final two sets were 6-1, 6-3. And his opponent literally hasn't had a hard match all tournament so far. So look over 38 and a half games.
Andrew Oleg asks, can Medvedev win 3 sets to love tonight?
I would take it.
And Nick Borman agrees. Carm, any look aheads?
Yeah, the Medvedev one to win in 3 sets is -138. I would think it's got a shot. Some look aheads definitely on the women's side. The Keenan Mertens match. Keenan's -150 in that match to win, and obviously I've got a future on it, so I'll be cheering for her to win that one. The Jennifer Brady one, like I said, in straight sets I like. And then as far as on the men's side, this is more of a games one, total games. I think this is at least a 4-setter, possibly a 5-setter. Matteo Berrettini and Andrei Rublev. It's right now it's at 41.5 is the total games, and there's a good chance that it's going to go at least 4 sets, maybe 5. So I'd be betting the over 41.5 there total games.
Great call, Nick Borman.
Yeah, I had a write-up ready for Medvedev tonight, which Andrew stole. I have it at -7 games. I think it's a straight set win. I think it's him covering that number. Just in case, these guys did play in the Australian Open this year. Medvedev won 3-1 over Tiafoe. And just in case that happens again, you never know. The first set, sometimes the favorites kind of don't necessarily – it takes a little bit through the batch for them to really establish themselves. So in case that first set goes a little crooked, maybe Tiafoe sneaks a tiebreak in or something, you can still win if you take the game. So that's why I took the games -7 tonight. I think Medvedev will control that match. And Coric, I like a lot too. I think he's a great player. I bet him a couple times this tournament already. I think he's got a lot to take. The total is definitely a good play. Andrew, another good one he threw out there as the over for tomorrow's match. So those are both good plays I like.
I'm about to go nap, boys. I've been doing shows all day. Thank you guys for talking tennis. Absolutely love talking tennis. Carm, Viv and I are going to be playing another couple next week in tennis. You should come out, be our ball boy. I learned to move from Djokovic.
No one's hitting you with the wall, but Stacey and I will be more than willing to give you guys a challenge on the court. You know what I mean? So you let me know.
Andrew, nice backdrop. Okay, I'm never playing you
in
tennis,
go.
Carm.
2 hours.
I'm never playing you in tennis. Guys, I've petered out. To all of you, everybody, have yourselves an incredible Labor Day, a wonderful night tonight. Go Raps. Enjoy the hockey. Enjoy the tennis. Enjoy the soccer, the basketball, the baseball, and, of course, the football, which begins this week. I'm Prez, and we'll see you all tomorrow.